In the building, unapologetically QI in the building, in the building, unapologetically QI in the building. All right, all right, all right. I'm gonna get started. Uh, these videos are just documentaries, so either people can catch them later or they'll be in the algorithm. But at any rate, from what I have been seeing going on, throughout the beef sector and other sectors as well as things that I've experienced, I decided to come on here and ask, who are the abusers? Abusers, raise your hand. Now, what I'm gonna do is I am about to give out signs and symptoms of abusers and abuse. And then after I give these signs and symptoms out, I want to know who is an abuser, and I want those abusers to raise their hand, as well as who's been abused. Now, there are some that are both, because as we know, abuse is a cycle. It's a cycle, especially if you don't stop and get help. Sometimes we have to take a breather. Luckily, I've always known I've always known and recognized the symptoms. Therefore, I've always taken a break or, found coping mechanisms or either gotten away from a situation. But apparently, people don't know what the definition of abuse is, the many forms of abuse, how abuse works. And in this sector, the beef sector, we really need to know that. We really need to understand it because it's become a dysfunctional cycle of abuse. It's cycles of toxicity. So I'm going to start with the different types of abuse. We have verbal abuse, and that's name calling, saying derogatory things about other people, etc., etc. We have emotional abuse. That is like triggering people. That is like when something affects someone. Just like there's a person that gets triggered when you call them when you say that they're not light skinned. All right. So like if you do that intentionally, knowing that, like that is a trigger of theirs, that's like somewhat a sign of or a small example of emotional abuse. You have spiritual abuse, you have financial and material abuse. That's using money and stuff like that to control or either finessing or are basically making people feel like they're obligated to pay. You have sexual abuse. You have discriminatory abuse, which is like different members of different communities that are protected classes, like the disabled, like the LGBTQIA, like studs, like lesbians, like all of those derogatory words and different things, treating people differently, based on like religion, based on gender, based on LGBTQIA, etc. You have organizational and institutional abuse. Now this one is very important because this happens a lot on YouTube, because it's like when you have content creators with large numbers, with stronger followings, uh, a stronger support system, and they target in on a content creator with smaller uh, support system to no support system. That is what you call an institutional or organizational abuse, or it is like cults. Cults is institutional and organizational abuse, or using your numbers or using your followers or whatever to take the rights of others or to discriminate or to harm another. That's organizational and institutional abuse, and that's very prevalent online. Now, the other thing that I want to do is tell you some of the signs of abuse. And what I mean by signs of abuse, I mean things that people do that are abusive tactics, like being super hypercritical or judgmental to another, ignoring people's personal boundaries, possessiveness or control. A lot of people didn't know that being controlling is an abusive tactic as well. Dismissing or invalidating one's feelings. That is a form of an abusive tactic. Also, hoovering. And pretty much what hoovering is like love bombing. It's like calling out crisis. Like, like when people, oh, like something major just happened and nothing major just happened, and they're just doing that pretty much to because they just did something wrong, and they pretty much want everybody to feel sorry for them. Stalking and smear campaigns. Types of online abuse: stalking, trolling, cyberbullying, hate speech, public shaming, intimidation, and threats. And often some of the signs that this might be affecting others, because in the beef sector, it's like this is the beefing sector. Like you got to be tough skinned. Everybody like has emotions. Everybody has feelings. Nobody is above abuse. Nobody's above the cycles of abuse, and we're not going to say that. And a lot of times, the stronger a person looks or the stronger a person appears to be handling the abuse, it comes out in other ways. It comes out. There is an effect to it, just like there's an effect to it. There is definitely an effect to abuse, and people handle it different ways. So just because like a person may not come online and cry, a person may not come online and and whatever, doesn't mean that the abuse is not affecting them. And I think another example of online abuse was doxing, putting out people's personal information maliciously. All right. So the reason why I want to go through all of that is because I want everybody to look around. Everybody's, oh, like, what about the child? Yes, I feel so sorry, you know, um, for the child. Like I think that, both, I'm concerned about both. I think people need both of them need a wellness check. And I think that, like sometimes people experience caregiver burnout, parental burnout, and I posted some videos and information about that on my page. I'm using this as an opportunity for education. It's real. It's not fake. Taking care of a disabled person, taking care of a child with autism or any special needs is hard at times. And it is like people lack compassion. And especially if you're a one person parent or if you don't have a large support system. Support systems are very important, especially if you don't have like like family to come get your child and over the weekend, just to give you a breather, give you a mental health break. And sometimes we have to know when things have affected us and we have to go ahead and take us some mental health breaks. It doesn't mean that you can't be on here or anything like that. You have just as much of a right to be on here as anyone else, especially when a lot of people are, abusers or abusive. But sometimes, like it's better to just sit back, take a little mental health break, and then come back and do it again. And for those parents that are taking care of children with special needs, or like in my case, my grandmother had dementia. I've told that story a lot of times, and I didn't know about caregiver services at first. But like reach out to your local resources and different things, your doctors, your different health providers and things of that nature. to find out about caregiver services where be able to give you a break. Because even parents with normal children sometimes need a break as well. Parental burnout is normal. And we're around here acting like it's just easy carrying on the burden of taking care of a lot of children, especially when you're a single mother. Or even if you're married, sometimes if, like your partner or the partner is not, providing the same, type of, help, giving a break and different things of that nature, then, that can be overwhelming at times. And sometimes all people need is a mental health break from everything just to come back and, and be okay. But like I said, I titled this "Who Are the Abusers?" or "Abusers Raise Your Hands," because like I wanted to give all of those signs and signs because I see a lot of abusers, a lot of abusers using different types of abuse tactics and different things of that nature. And like I've been through that myself. I've been through that myself, and I know, like how complicated that can be at times, because it's a mental thing. Like with physical work or physical, when you're just using your physical, right? You get tired, you go to bed, and you rest your muscles and different things, and you get up and you can go do it all again. With mental burnout, not so easy. And sometimes that's why people drink. That's why sometimes people, they smoke or whatever you want to call it. Because like, to help alleviate some of the mental burnout from being mentally exhausted. And like as people or whatever, especially as adults, parents, and different things of that nature, we have to be more compassionate. We have to be more aware and more alert. Sometimes people be on here crying out for help and you don't know it. And we don't want to we don't want to find out that we could be responsible for someone dismissing themselves. So I'm simply saying, like, I've broken down the types of abuse because people think it's only physical. And it's not just verbal when it comes to children, it's verbal when it comes to adults as well. Emotional, spiritual, financial, all of that. To take it to take advantage or to harm, to intentionally harm someone in any for any reason is not good. Because that's just hurting people. And that's the thing too. A lot of people want point fingers saying that this person has a problem. But if you're engaging in these types of things, then you might want to go look in the mirror. You might want to go sit on the couch because you yourself has a problem as well. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm the most sane person in the world. I'm not. I go to therapy. I've gone through things and I know grief. I have to go to grief counseling. A lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, as black people especially, we seem to think that we seem to think that there's something wrong with getting help. But like, your mind regulates your body. And if your mind is not well, if your mind is not stable, if your mind is exhausted, that has an effect on your body. That has an effect on your overall health. So your mind regulates your overall health. So what's the point in, like going to the doctor for your physical health and not taking care of your mental health as well? So, uh, I just wanted to come on here and roasting dragon, having a little fun, that's fine. But like people go overly and beyond. Just like with name calling. If somebody calls me a B, a H, that's derogatory. That's not what my mama named me. A B means a female dog. A H is something, what y'all know what a H is. A BD, a D. Those are derogatory lesbian terms. Uh I see a lot of derogatory things happening on here, a lot of discriminatory abuse, a lot of abuse tactics, a lot of humiliation tactics, intimidation tactics, trolling, institutional organizational tactics when it comes down to numbers and stuff. I see a lot of things happening on here. So, like, once again, I'm gonna leave y'all with this question, or I'm gonna say this: abusers. Re- Well, let me say this before I close as well. Like, I would much rather send some wellness checks. I'd rather give people resources and different things like that, and stuff like that. Um, like, if you're not, what's the point in raising awareness on something if you're not going to help the person? You're not helping that child by abusing her mom. You're not helping that child by abusing her mom. I don't know who, where, what made you think that abusing that mom is helping that child. And I saw people even after the incident triggering and triggering and triggering. I'm like, y'all stop triggering. If you really cared about the child, then you wouldn't be triggering the mother to get a response or effect, or to get them out of control, or as they say, out of their body. That was sick and crazy. And that was just as bad. Now, I'm not gonna like. Of course, we know that people are no angels. Nobody on here is an angel. But like, I know people who've done worse than what I've seen her do. I know, I know people who've done worse, and I know people who do just as bad. So like, I'm not gonna sit and act like this person is so bad when everybody else is doing it. I'm not going to do that. And then when people are doing worse, and when people are doing worse right in front of our face, they're gaslighting. The institutional and organizational things is gaslighting tactics. They're pointing all the fingers at that one person while they're doing either the same things or something worse. And that happens a lot in not just the beef sector, but all of the three sectors that I've been in. So once again, I ask, if we're serious about this, if this outrage is real, or if this is not fake outrage, misguided anger, because a lot of people are angry and they're using whatever tactic they can to take things out on the next person. Yeah, we all get mad, but I'm not trying to destroy anyone unless the only way I'm going to destroy somebody is if it comes down to what do they call it? Oh, what do they call it? Self-defense. And I don't mean just physically, I mean online as well, self-defense. And then I'm not going to do it in the same manner as everyone else, because I will become just as bad. I'm not going to be a follower. I'm not going to do things that I know is bad, because I'm just as bad. I'm going to do it the right way. Just like if you're really trying to help that little girl, if you're really trying to help uppity, because I'm concerned about both, then instead of you degrading, bashing, triggering, you would reach out and help her by giving her resources, by trying to give her some type of a support system. I know today was difficult because she had already been triggered. Today wasn't the day to talk to her. But once she calms down or whatever, then maybe y'all could give her resources, caregiver resources. Y'all could get, like, so she could go, because she may need some medical assistance herself. When you're a caregiver, you often don't have a whole lot of time for yourself. A lot of your time is dedicated towards that other person's health, like going to their doctor's appointments. So going to, like making sure that, like they have their medication. They like a lot of times you're like, you put your you are them. So a lot of times it doesn't leave a lot of room for yourself. Caregivers give up a lot. 24 hours, 7 day a week caregivers, I'm saying. And caregiver burnout or parental burnout is very easy. Everybody needs a break. Everybody needs some peace sometimes. Everybody needs to have some fun. Everybody needs to do something for themselves. Everybody, and what's funny is if you're not a parent, if you've never taken care of an elderly, somebody with dementia, somebody with special needs, then you have no room to talk. No room because you don't even know what that's like. I didn't even know when I was experiencing it that I was experiencing it because I had no idea. When I took care of my aunt for that short period of time, it was like for 2 months. It was like 2 months here and there. I would give my cousin a break, so it wasn't like, and see, my family, we kicked in with my aunt, especially. Now, when it came to my grandmother, it was a whole different story. People be feeling like, you the strong one, you got it, you got it, you got it. But at any rate, even with my aunt, I put in the biggest, like other than her son, I put in the biggest amount of time, 2 months. I let him go out of town, let him go, he got to go to the gym. He got to, still experience his life. He wasn't locked in the house, because, my cousin's young. He was like, like what, 23 when his mom passed, or while she was sick. That's young, and you giving up your whole life. I know I gave up my whole life for my grandma. I taken care of my family. So I know. And I also use, online was an outlet because, online you get your little socialization. You get, you get to feel like somewhat that, you're still engaging in some of your life. But when it becomes toxic, and that's why like I took some breaks. That's why I took a large break, like for, some years off because, my grandma declined. And like I said, she passed. And see, whereas I spent a lot of time taking care of my grandma, now I'm spending a lot of time with self care and healing and recovering. So once again, I want all the abusers to raise their hands. And if there's any clean hands out there, any, what do they say? I want to use that church stuff, but would that be abuse? Um, what do the minister general say? Well, it's like if there's any clean hands out there, raise your hand. Because even myself, I can't say I have completely clean hands. I don't intentionally like to hurt people. I don't intentionally, but I can't say that, so there are no clean hands out here. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle of toxicity and it's a cycle of abuse that we're dysfunction, degenerational, well, whatever. I'm getting tongue tied. But at any rate, um, crab in a barrel. It's crazy. It's very crazy. And we seem to think it's all right, but it's really not. This sector is doomed. This sector is ending. Um, it's ending. And l- let's just hope that it doesn't end with a whole bunch of fatalities. A whole bunch, like let's just hope that it ends gracefully. YouTube is going to end it because they're now trying to hold Google and YouTube responsible for a lot of these things because these things does affect people. This stuff affects people, regardless if you want to admit it or not. It doesn't have, and nobody's that strong. Ain't nobody strong for this. Sometimes there are people who get triggered just by seeing it. People, it's crazy. I just can't. It's unbelievable. Um, but raise your hand if you got clean hands, and listen to all of the signs and symptoms of different things, and ask yourself, are you an abuser? And if you're an abuser, raise your hand, and start paying attention to people who are crying out for help. Because I seen somebody yesterday that got up early in the morning. Yeah, they were intoxicated, and then they were also complaining or crying, like in so many words. Then I saw somebody manic. The next panic they went on panel they went on, they were manic. And something told me to reach out then, but it's like hard to reach out to people online. And I said to myself, next time she goes live, I may try to go in there. You know what I'm saying? But she never went live on her own. And she just went from panel to panel to panel. But if you go back and pay attention, you can see red flags. You can see signs that something was going on, internally with her. That was a cry for help. So the thing not to do is to put your foot on her neck. That's wrong. You're hurting. You're adding to the problem. You're triggering. The thing to do is to help them find resources, whatever resource they need. If they need some rest, if they need caregiver help, if they need a support system, like whatever it is that they need. And that's what real people, real humans, mature adults um would do. I have a heart. I'm a real human. uh I'm capable of love. A lot of people are not capable of love. I see they're cold, they're hardened, they're distanced, they're detached from themselves. They don't know themselves. A lot of these people have a lot going on. And for my critical thinkers and stuff like that, pay attention. You'll see it. And it's in mass amounts. I'm not just saying one or two here. Like I'm gonna tell you, I'm not perfect. I have issues. That's why I will come on here and explain my issues. I will come on here and I will say whatever it is because I'm no different from anyone else. And I'd rather use, like I rather what I feel like I would rather, if what I says can help somebody, if what I hope that what I said, this video or what I'm saying now can help somebody. I want to save a soul. I want to save a spirit. But until next time, I want to say I thank each and every one of y'all for y'all support. And I mean that from the heart. Um, I would like to say that I would like to grant you healing, peace, wisdom, strength. And let me look at the comments because normally I don't look at the comments. I just, I rant. So I'm going to look at the comments a little bit. Salute Just Me. Salute Lady S. Good morning. Yes. Yeah, mental abuse is on the rise and there's an agenda for it. Let me just say this too. Like, one of the biggest reasons why, as a collective, sometimes a group or a race of people are always at the bottom is because of the agenda. Just like if you want to destroy generations of Black people, you start with the mothers because the mothers are the ones that are primarily responsible for raising the children. If the mother is not okay, if the mother has been abused, if the mother has, been is not well, then there's a big chance that that child is not going to be well as well. So the agenda is to attack the woman. In war, that's what they did. We're in war right now where I see that the black woman is under attack because it has an effect on generations to come. And people need to think about that. We need to think about, we're saying children, but look at what type of environment that this is going to create for the children. We're creating toxic environments for the children. So, that's pretty much all I'm going to say for now. I might come back on a little later. I got another video set up, but I think I had covered what I wanted to talk about, and that was about the toxicity in the beef sector, or toxicity, the cycles of toxicity. Because, oh, this is entertainment. I don't know when hurting people became entertaining. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to hurting, destroying somebody's life. I don't see that as entertaining. I don't see it as justifiable. I don't see it as a lot of things. And it has happened to me. And even, and although it has happened to me, I still can't justify me doing that back in return, or me doing, I said, two wrongs don't make a right. Because then I'm a part of the problem just as well, instead of being a part of the solution. And I like to be a part of the solution. I am an advocate and an activist for a lot of things, and this is one. So, like, I know I keep trying to close out, but this time it's for real. I love all of my supporters. I thank y'all wholeheartedly, because I want real, true, mature, core supporters. I want people who really value the things that I bring to the table. I want people that's going to learn to understand me for me, and not me for who somebody else presents. Or and I want people to understand that I'm not perfect either. I'm not going to come on here and try to be perfect. I'm trying to come on here and be me, unapologetically me. That's why I changed my name. And I think I love this one the most. I think it's going to, because I'm about to rebrand my channel. I'm about to bring forth different content, uh, real content. I never, I like, I never want to come on here and argue with people and stuff like that. I like content. I like a variety of content, a variety of different type of content. I have some things that I need to do first, um, because the type of content that I'm gonna provide is gonna be time consuming content. It's like it's gonna take a lot of time to bring it forth, research, different things like that. So y'all bear with me, and like and I'm trying to remotivate myself too, to come on here to build up my watch hours and different things like that. So, I'm working towards it. Y'all just bear with me. I thank y'all for y'all support, your patience, and everything. And like I said, until next time, healing, peace, love, wisdom, light. And it's this is QI, unapologetically QI, and I'm out. Peace.